What does it mean to go for yours, to speak up for yourself, to advocate for your work, to open your mouth to help create opportunities for you? What up, fam? Welcome back to the channel. If it's your first time here, hello, I'm Dynasty. I'm also known as the Dream Pusher. And on this channel, we talk about all things creative self-development. What does that even mean? That means seeing the thing, creating a vision for that thing and a plan, and taking inspired action to make it happen. About me, I am an indie hip hop artist and have been so for over the past decade, and it's been a beautiful journey and a wonderful career. And I love to share lessons that I've learned on this path that I think might help some of you on your own journey, whether it's a creative journey or in your everyday life. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Today, I want to talk about going for yours. Advocating for yourself. What does it mean to go for yours, to speak up for yourself, to advocate for your work, to open your mouth to help create opportunities for you? Now, let me tell you something. I used to be in so many spaces, scared. Is scared the right word? Scared, anxious, nervous, hesitant to speak up for myself, even though at some of these times I had the dopest receipts. You know, I remember having a song with DJ Premier, legendary hip hop producer, and more, and still being in a room and feeling like I needed to wait to be introduced. Now, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to be cocky and not wanting to come across arrogant. But at some point, that can hold you back. People like to say your work should speak for itself. And yes, while I agree that whatever it is that we're working on, we want to put our all into it and make sure that we feel great about it and it's the best thing that we can put out, right? We want to try our best for it. But what good is trying to let your work speak for itself if you won't speak for your work? And this is something that I've learned in this journey as an artist. I would be in rooms and be hesitant to open my mouth and speak up for myself. I let not wanting to sound like I'm bragging block me from opportunities, I think, at times, because I would meet people who could help me secure or find or create new opportunities and be nervous to say, hey, how you doing? And spark up a conversation and eventually get to, so I'm Dynasty and here are some of the things that I'm doing and here's how I think there's some alignment and I would love to work with you. Now I can say that to somebody, and I'm not gonna lie, even now, sometimes I'm like, okay, God, breathe. 1, 2, 3, say it, right? Sometimes it's still not as easy as I would like it to be, but it sure beats not saying anything at all. Sometimes I start speaking, I'm stumbling over words. I'm Dynasty, I'm the Dream Pusher. And basically what I do is, sometimes it's not all flowy and smooth and, as magical as I would like it to be, but I get the words out because I remember being in those spaces, not speaking up, and then going home and being like, girl, why didn't you say something? If you want something, it's on you to get it. And while it's nice to have fam and friends who will say your name in the room or make sure to introduce you, we all need some people like that in our lives, but we can't rely on those folk to be the ones to advocate for us. We gotta be our biggest cheerleader. So many times we have the receipts, we have the track record of showing up and making it do what it do. We have receipts of us doing the thing. But when we get in front of people, it's like, we're not opening our mouths and saying, hey, this is who I am and what I do and what I've done, and here's where you can see it. Where can you find evidence for yourself that you are that person? Just pause and take a look back over some of your accomplishments, some of the things that you set out to do that you did, and start building your own personal book of evidence. So that when those doubts do come up, you can say, well, in 2023, I said I wanted to do X, Y, Z, and I did that. In 2022, I wanted to do this and this and that, and I did that. And there may be some things that you didn't even have planned to do that you did on the strength of your resume, on the strength of how you'd shown up previously. People came and sought you out. What are those things? How can you start building your own book of evidence so you know that you are capable? When you understand your strengths, you're aware of your achievements, that shines through when you start to speak about who you are, what you've done, and what value you can bring to the room. So start building that. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2, work on your communication skills. Work on being an effective communicator. How can you get to the point clearly and concisely? How can you make it make sense in a way? When you meet people, you don't have 20 minutes of their time to tell them who you are. A lot of times you don't have that opportunity to really sit down with someone and share who you are, what you've done, and where you've been, and how you've contributed to success for yourself and others. You just don't. So what type of work and preparation can you start doing now to walk into that space prepared to say what you need to say and to get to it? What can you do? Start practicing. Write out the things. Practice saying the things to yourself. Get in front of the mirror. Get with a friend. Say it out loud. Hear how it sounds coming out of your mouth. It's one thing to have these things in your mind, but it's a whole other thing to be in front of a person and say, hi, I'm Dynasty. So you were talking about XYZ that you're working on. I just wanted to share with you that I'm also working on this, and I was actually a part of XYZ, which did really well. And I think there's some alignment here. I would love the opportunity to talk to you some more about that, or whatever that sounds like for you. That wasn't even so great, but it was decent. And I just said it off the top of my head, and I'm not gonna go back and edit it, just to show you it's not perfect, but I got to it, right? And you will get better with practice. I'm not a great networker. I still get a little anxious and awkward in the room, y'all, if I don't know people, but I'm showing up and I'm practicing because I know that it is important for me if I want to continue to grow and create new opportunities for myself. And that leads me to tip number 3, build your network. You gotta build a network. No man is an island. You cannot do this by yourself. Whatever this is for you, you can't do it by yourself. That's why you're on YouTube looking at other people to gather some tips and information to help you on your journey. We learn and grow from and with each other, and we help each other find and create opportunities. So you want to find and connect with other like-minded individuals, or people who are in the industry or the field that you're in, people who are doing similar things, or who have, even better, have done the thing and have been successful at it and are willing to talk with you and share some tips or information that might help you along the way. Winning. I've always been able to build my networks by showing up. People do this different ways. Some people might find their network only online. Some people may look to networking events or trade events or conferences, expos. I show up. So for example, when I went to LA, I heard all of these crazy stories. Oh my God, it's so hard. And it is challenging because almost everybody there is there for the purpose of growing their business, growing their art, growing their craft, becoming a star, whatever that looks like. So it's a different terrain to navigate, and it can be a little tricky, but I had the mindset that, again, leaning on my receipts and on my track record of the past several years, that I just need to show up as me and the opportunities will come. And that's what I did. I landed, I asked people, hey, where are the dopest open mics? Where do I need to be as a musician, as an artist? Where do I need to be to meet my folk or to connect and create opportunities? And they told me, you want to hit up this spot, you want to hit this spot, and you definitely want to hit up this spot. And I hit all of the places. I showed up. I got on the mic, I used my gift, and I started to meet people. That worked out really, really well for me. Another way, go support other people in their thing. Whatever their thing is. If they're an artist, go to their shows. If they have a brand or a business, support them. Show up to their things. Share their stuff. Ask folk, how can I support you? What do you need? How can I help you? What can I do to help your vision grow? And let me tell you something. When you help other people, no, you're not doing it as a tit for tat. You're not doing it to get something in return. But when you're good to people, people want to be good to you. So that really helps when it comes to building your network. Just something to keep in mind. Also, push past the fear of looking stupid when it comes to reaching out to people for help. You might get some no's, or you might be completely ignored. I've sent a lot of emails. I've reached out to several folk, and some folk I just did not hear back from. Some folk, months went by and I heard from them. So, and what feels like a no isn't always a no. Sometimes it's just a bit of a delay. And I know it can be discouraging. When I was in LA, I was getting into acting. I was going to casting calls. Oh my gosh. Shouts to all my actors, the tough skin that you have to be in that industry. And even as a hip hop artist, even as any kind of performing artist or any kind of field where you're putting your work out there to be examined, critiqued, and then selected for something, you gotta have thick skin. Because a lot of times, not hearing anything or getting a no isn't indicative of the quality of your work. You might just not be a good fit for that particular thing. Or there may be someone who was a better fit. Maybe you are a great fit, but this person was just a little bit more of a fit. Or maybe this stuff isn't that great. Sometimes that happens too. But you gotta have the courage to put yourself out there and ask people for help. Ask people if they have time to have a conversation with you. And something to keep in mind is, can you offer any value to them? Most people don't want to go sit down with you for coffee or for lunch. They can get their own coffee and their own lunch. So instead of saying, hey, I would love to take you to lunch to pick your brain. If you come and you say, hey, I see you have XYZ event coming up. Do you need any extra hands for like setup or takedown? I am so interested in learning more about what you guys have got going on at ABC Corporation. And I just want to let you know I am available. If you need some extra hands, I would love to be a part of the team and just be there and take it all in. Now I'm offering something that they don't have. They don't have 4 hands. You know, they might have a team, but a lot of times if they have a big production, they could probably use someone else. But I'm coming in offering something. What can I do for you? It might help. Another way to build your network, being down for collaboration. Now, collaboration that makes sense. Collaboration that is aligned with who you are and aligned with your vision. A lot of people over the years have hit me up, yo, we need to work together. Yo, we need to do a song. Yo, I got beats. Yo, and I appreciate all of that. But at the end of the day, it still needs to be aligned. Does what you want to work on feel good to me, to my spirit? Am I going to be forcing myself to make it work for the opportunity, or does it flow? I used to try to force myself to do things if I felt like it was a potentially good opportunity. And a lot of times it never panned out to be anything anyway. So these days I don't force anything. I don't force anything. Cheers to that. I don't force things. If it flows, it flows. If I feel like I'm struggling with it, or if I think I'm going to struggle with it, I just say no. I don't have to say yes to every single opportunity that comes my way. If it doesn't make sense, if I'm not going to enjoy it, and especially if there's not a monetary gain and it's not mutually beneficial, it's going to be a no. And there's no love lost. I just want to make sure that whatever I'm doing feels aligned and feels right for me. The last tip for today is to demonstrate your passion. Listen, enthusiasm is contagious. When people are hype about what they do and what they offer, it's kind of hard to not catch that energy. So when you're advocating for your work, let that enthusiasm shine through. And when I say enthusiasm, I don't mean necessarily all of the outside characteristics of enthusiasm, like being super hype and loud and boisterous. I mean, read the room. That might work depending on where you are, but not always. What I'm talking about is sharing your why, sharing why you're passionate about this thing, why it matters to you so much, and why you would love the opportunity that's in front of you, why you're perfect for the opportunity. Receipts. You see how we keep going back? This is where your book of evidence is going to come into play, because when you have that book of evidence, you can be passionate. Yeah, so I've done these workshops that sound exactly like what you were saying that you need. And I would love to tell you about how Dream Push Go can benefit your organization, because I clearly see the alignment and this is what I love to do. So can we talk some more about that? When's a good time for you? I need to be able to lean into my confidence, going back to step 1, be able to communicate it clearly, going back to step 2, and bring that enthusiasm and spark so that when you leave me, you'll remember Dynasty with Dream Push Go. You'll remember Dynasty, the girl who was telling me about her dope jewelry line, Self-Love Standard, and how much she loved it and the story behind why she started it. And she told it to me. She didn't talk too long, but she said enough that made me interested and want to learn more. So when I go home, I'm gonna look her up. In fact, I'm probably never gonna wait till I go home. When I go in the car, I'm gonna pull up her page and learn a little bit more about her and see where there might be opportunities to connect and collaborate. I'm telling you, enthusiasm is a game changer. Try it out and let me know how it works for you. Thanks for hanging out with me today, y'all. I hope that you found some value in these 4 tips. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and try some of them out, 1 or all of them. And make sure you come back and comment and let me know how it worked out for you. Or if you have some other tips that might help us on our journey of just advocating for ourselves and speaking up for our work, let me know down below, and stay tuned for the next video. Until then, take care of yourselves. Peace and much love.